of the fourth lecture of the railway engineering, right? So in this class we will be studying about the gradient. We have studied about the gradient in the highway also. Same gradients are being provided, but some extra gradients are provided here in the case of railways. So what is gradient? It is the same. The rate of rise and fall. Rate means what? With respect to distance or time. You can say here in this case of distance. With respect to some distance, there is a rise and fall, as I can show you here. After some distance, there is a small fall, or there is a rise. So that will be your gradient, right? So that will become your gradient. This is a gradient. This is your gradient, because after some distance there is some rise or there is a some fall, right? So that slope is called as gradient, right? So these gradients are provided longitudinal slope. These are gradients are longitudinal, not transverse. So which are the types of gradients? These are maximum gradients. First one is the maximum gradient. Second is the momentum gradient. Third is the pusher gradient. Third one is the pusher gradient. And the fourth is the station gradient. Now what is this maximum gradient? A maximum gradient is the gradient which is maximum allowed on the railway track section. We can't go above this, right? We can't provide a gradient more than this. It is the maximum gradient that we are going to provide, right? It depends on the train and extra power of an engine. More power is required if the gradient is steeper or more than this maximum gradient, right? So in the case of plain ruling gradient, 1 in 150 or 1 in 200, or in the case of hilly areas, the ruling gradient is 1 in 100 or 1 in 150 is provided as a maximum gradient, right? This is maximum. You can provide less, but you cannot provide more than this. You can't provide more than 150 in the case of plain areas. You can't go for 130 140 because 150 is the max value, right? It might be a up gradient or it might be a down gradient. So anything it might be. What is momentum gradient? So what is a momentum gradient we are talking about, right? So momentum gradient is provided when if there is a rising gradient in front of you, right? Like this, you have a rising gradient, right? You have a rising gradient. The train cannot directly take this rising gradient. Cannot negotiate this direct gradient, such a high steep gradient. Train requires lot of power, right? So what to do? What we do is we give some energy to it. Extra energy. How will we provide extra energy here? What we do is before, if there is a rising gradient like this, what we do, as we come, we provide a slope downward gradient here and just connect it like this. So whenever there is an upper gradient, for that we provide and a downward gradient before it, so that when it's coming downwards, right, when it is coming downwards along the down gradient, what happens, the kinetic energy is developed, right? as it doesn't require more energy to come downwards. So it takes the momentum with the speed, and the energy is developed. What energy? Kinetic energy is developed. So that kinetic energy will help the train to overcome this steep gradient without much energy. You're understanding what I'm saying? Whenever you want to overcome a steep up gradient, right? You want to climb some hill, right? Suppose I will show you once more. If this is a hill like this, right? And if you have a if you want to make your train to climb this hill without much efforts, then you are going to provide what? You are going to provide a down gradient before it, right? You are going to provide a down gradient, so that what happens when a train moves from here downwards, right? It will acquire a speed and also a kinetic force. This kinetic force will help the train to overcome this steep gradient, upward gradient here like this, right? It will help the train to overcome this steep gradient. So because of that, you might have felt this when you are driving a vehicle from this steep downward gradient. The vehicle doesn't require more energy. It doesn't require to accelerate more, right? It will acquire the energy because it will start moving because of the steep gradient, right? So that gradient will help the train to overcome this steep gradient. Because of this, so the provision of this steep downward gradient to overcome a upward gradient. So this gradient is called as momentum gradient. It provides a momentum to the vehicle or a train. It is provided mostly in the railways. This is what he is trying to show you. Same thing. As a cycler wants to move, wants to overcome this upward gradient. So what we are going to do? We are going to make the cycle to freely fall downwards. So when he is falling downwards, he will acquire this speed and force, and that force will help him to overcome this or jump this upward gradient, right? It will help him to jump over the upward gradient. Next is the pusher gradient, right? If your trains are on the hilly areas, when we are on the hilly areas like this, where it is very steep gradient, right? So on that case, what we do is, whenever a train is moving with an engine, right? This is an engine. This single engine, this is only one engine, right? So this single engine is not enough to carry this train forward on this gradient, right? It is not enough. That single engine will carry the not carry the load on such a steep gradient, because this steep gradient or the gradient that is provided here, right? This gradient is there. It is more than maximum gradient. It is exceptional gradient, as we say in the highways. It is more than that maximum gradient. So in that case, what we do is, we provide a extra engine at the back, right? We provide an extra engine at the back. So this engine will push the train forward with the help of the first engine, forward engine. Forward engine is pushing, but it alone cannot take the load to that extent. So in that case, what we do, we provide an engine backwards, so that that engine will push the train forward. So when we provide a pusher engine to the rail to push the vehicle forward on such gradient, right? So that gradient on which we provide a pusher engine or pusher vehicle to pull the train, such gradient is called as pusher gradient. Those gradient are exceptional. We can't provide it everywhere. right? The gradient which requires more than one additional locomotive for pulling the train up the track is called as pusher gradient. These gradients are always steeper than the ruling gradient or maximum gradient. These gradients are always steeper than the ruling gradient, and it is not possible to restrict the gradient in the case of ruling gradient in the hilly areas. We can't reduce that gradient in the case of hilly areas, right? So you provide that uh, pusher gradient because we require an additional pushing engine. So station yard gradient. But why do we require a station gradient? It is we provide the station on the straight level track, right? So why do we want some gradient? Why? Because to start the engine or to stop the engine, it becomes very easy, right? If there is some slope like this, right? This is your small slope that is been provided like this, right? The slope is like this provided. Very small slope is been provided. So whenever you are want to stop the vehicle, when you're coming from this direction and you want to stop the vehicle or a train, this slope will help you to exert some opposite pressure on your vehicle or a train, right? When the slope is provided in this direction like this and you want to stop the vehicle, this upward gradient, small upward gradient, will help as a friction to the vehicle, and the power required to apply the brakes will reduce. When you want to start the engine and move forward, this sloping gradient will help you to give an inertia to you, right? As you release the brake and train starts moving slowly, so that slow movement will help to take up the engine forward. That will give you inertia force, right? And also we provide this small gradient because during the rainy season, right? During the rainy season, water should not accumulate on your tracks or a permanent way. It should easily flow into the drains and there should not be any water logging on the tracks. So for that cases, you provide a very nominal slope, that is 1 in 1000, right? It is 1 in 1000. It will help during the starting and stopping the trains, right? And it will help to the help us to avoid waterlogging of the tracks during the rainy season, because we provided some gentle slope, water will not stand. If it was a very straight leveled one, then water would start accumulating over the tracks and this would deteriorate the permanent way, right? So that is for today's class. We have two parts of this unit, that is this lecture, that is we saw the various factors affecting the alignment and what are the forces acting over the track. We saw the various types of gradient we saw. So and we saw what is gradient also, right? This is all for today. We will see more details in the next class.